Have you ever stood at a harbor and looked closely at the hull of a massive cargo ship? Down near the waterline, painted in bold letters and lines, there's a strange symbol. A circle with a horizontal line running straight through the middle of it, sitting above a small ladder of shorter lines stacked beneath it. It looks almost like a target or some kind of measuring tool, but nobody explains what it's actually for. Your brain tries to make sense of it. Is it a logo? A docking guide for the crew? A warning label of some kind? Why would every single cargo ship in the world carry the exact same strange marking, painted in the exact same place? That symbol has quietly shaped global trade for more than a century, and it exists because of a disaster so common it used to have its own grim nickname. Every year, ships loaded past their limits used to vanish at sea, taking their crews down with cargo the ship was never designed to carry. But here's the surprising truth. That circle and line isn't decoration, and it isn't random. It's a legally required safety mark that tells a ship, and everyone watching it, exactly how deep it's allowed to sit in the water. Today, we are uncovering what this mark actually measures, the one man who fought the shipping industry to get it painted on every hull, and why a simple painted line still saves lives on the ocean today. This is exactly the kind of hidden detail we love uncovering here on Always There, Never Noticed. To understand this, we have to go back to 19th century Britain during the height of the shipping boom. There was no requirement limiting how much cargo a ship could carry. Ship owners had every incentive to overload their vessels, since more cargo meant more profit per voyage. And if a ship happened to sink, the owner could often collect the insurance money anyway. These dangerously overloaded vessels earned a grim nickname, coffin ships, because so many of them sank with their crews still aboard. A member of parliament named Samuel Plimsoll spent years campaigning against this practice, fighting powerful shipping interests who didn't want any limit at all. His efforts eventually led to a law requiring every ship to display a visible mark showing its maximum safe loading depth. Think of loading a small canoe. As you add more weight, the canoe sits lower in the water, and the distance between the water and the top edge of the canoe shrinks. Add too much, and water starts spilling in over the side. A cargo ship works the exact same way, just at an enormous scale. The circle and line mark the precise point where the water should reach when the ship is safely and legally loaded. This is called the load line, though most sailors still call it by its original name, the Plimsoll mark. Underneath the main circle, you'll usually see a small ladder of additional lines, because water isn't the same everywhere. There are separate markings for tropical water, summer water, and winter water, since each one affects how deep the ship sits in slightly different ways. So if it's all the same ocean, why does a ship need different lines for different seasons and different regions? The answer, as is often the case, comes down to physics and economics working together. Warm tropical water is less dense than cold water, so a ship actually floats a little lower in warm seas than it does in cold ones, even carrying the exact same cargo. Saltwater is also denser than freshwater, which changes how deep a ship sits the moment it moves from an ocean port into a river or a freshwater harbor. Ship owners had every financial incentive to squeeze in as much cargo as possible, so international regulators eventually required this entire ladder of markings, each one calculated for a specific combination of water density and season, enforced by port inspectors around the world. What began as one stubborn politician's campaign became one of the most quietly effective safety laws in maritime history. So, the next time you see that circle and line painted on the side of a passing cargo ship, you'll know it isn't a logo or a guess. It's a hard limit written directly onto the hull, a promise from the ship to the sea that it won't ask for more than the water can safely give back.